Wenn ihr mehr wissen wollt über die transzendentale Wissenschaft des Krishna-Bewusstseins, dann kann ich euch den Bhakti Club empfehlen. Wir haben nun eine neue Plattform, auf der ich exklusive Inhalte anbiete, wie Videos und Kurse und eine digitale Sadhu Sangha. Geht einfach auf www.bhakti-club.de und registriert euch dort. Dann könnt ihr Einlass bekommen in eine spirituelle, digitale Welt. Ich freue mich auf eure Gemeinschaft. Hare Krishna. Their garlands attracted swarms of bees because they were garlands of fresh flowers. In the Vaikuntha world, everything is fresh, new and transcendental. The inhabitants of Vaikuntha have bodies of bluish color and 4 hands like Narayan. Om Ajnanatimmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshumilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Mukham Karoti Vachalam Pangung Langayate Girim Yat Kripata Mahang Vande Shri Gurundina Taranam Shri Chaitanya Manobistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swavadantikam. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadada Shri Vasari Gaura Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. The two doormen were garlanded with fresh flowers which attracted intoxicated bees and which were placed around their necks and between their 4 blue arms. From their arched eyebrows, discontented nostrils and reddish eyes, they appeared somewhat agitated. There's a verse in the 3rd canto, 25th chapter, so it will come later, 25th verse. It's a famous verse, one of Prabhupada's shlokas. Satam prasangam mama virya samvido bhavanti ridkarna rasayana kata tatshoshanat asha pavarga vartmani. Then it's yes, Shraddha Ratir Bhaktir Anukramishati. Yeah. Where it said that in the association of devotees, Sata means like holy people or devotees. Prasangam, in their association, there is kata. Yeah, there's kata. Kata is a word for topics, discussions, which are rasayana. Rasayana meaning full of taste, right? Rasa means taste. It's a special taste. We should taste this taste. We should experience this taste. That this is very satisfying to hear. What do we hear? The Bhagavatam, actually. This is what we hear. And this is entering their hearts through their ears. This taste is entering into the heart. This taste should be experienced in the heart. You should feel very happy when we hear about Krishna. And when we hear the Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam means Krishna and everything related to Krishna. Sometimes we hear things in the Bhagavatam, we might think, but this is not about Krishna. Where is Krishna when there's this or that aspect described? But it is also about Krishna, because it's in the Bhagavatam. So in the end, there is a relationship with Krishna in every word of the Bhagavatam. Even sometimes we might think, we cannot see Krishna so much there inside, but then we should develop the understanding to see Krishna there inside. We should see actually Krishna in everything. What's this verse? Yo mang pashyati savatra. Yeah. Sachamina pranashyati. So one who sees me everywhere and sees everything in me, I am never lost to him, nor is he ever lost to me. 6:30, I think it is. Bhagavad Gita. A devotee sees Krishna everywhere. And is so disconnected. But how can we see Krishna everywhere? We have to develop this vision that everything is connected with the Lord. As it's also said in the Bhagavatam, in the 2nd canto, in the Chatu Shlokis, where Krishna says, if you think something is not connected to me, this is Maya. It's not Maya when there's nothing in itself Maya, so to say. There's no Maya in itself. Maya is if it's not connected with Krishna, if we cannot see Krishna in it, if we cannot see Krishna's purpose in it or manifestation. So Bhagavatam is like this. This is direct Krishna Katha, every word. So this nectar is experienced in the heart, it's going through the ears. It's Karna meaning the ear. So we hear, so the hearing, there's a nectar happening. Bhavanti Karna Rasayana Katha. And through this, we are walking on the path of liberation. So this cultivation, it said, we're walking on the path of liberation. Apavarga Vartmani is meaning the path towards the spiritual world. And then Anukramishyati meaning like one after the other. Krama means also steps, right? This is always a word for like a progression. You have Shraddha, the faith will be strengthened. You will be convinced. Like in the beginning, we have some, it sounds nice and I like to believe it. And maybe we are wrangling with our faith. Maybe you had some phase in your spiritual life that you were wrangling with your faith. Yes, I believe it, but. Okay, sounds great, but. And then you are back and forth and you put your faith in it and then out of it. And you're wrangling. And how can you win this fight? You have to hear more. You have to hear more. It will strengthen your faith. It's really like that. Prabhupada actually will convince you. And when you put your faith, your Shraddha means there where your heart resides, more or less, where you put your heart inside. The word heart is also included in this word Shraddha. It's where you put your heart inside, your convictions, your whole existence, more or less, your purpose of life. And when you do that and you put your Shraddha in Krishna, you are very happy. You're very happy. And when you remove that Shraddha, you don't believe, you don't feel happy. I have experience of that in my beginning phase when I was wrangling, when I was starting to read. I had this, when I've put my faith in it, wow, it's true. This must be true. I believe it. It's wonderful. I was extremely happy. Euphorious at times even. Like really euphorious. Wow, I was like on, I don't want to say on drugs, but it was kind of like that, that Prabhupada said. No? Devotees said, I don't know, Prabhupada, but Krishna consciousness, stay high forever and all this. No? It's true. It's in higher consciousness. It's in higher consciousness. And then when doubts came, and I was like, I don't know, can it? Then I remove my Shraddha and I become suddenly material again. Yeah? And remorseful and unhappy. And I had this wrangling phase, it went back and forth. And then at one point I realized, if I put my faith in Krishna, if I believe it, accept it, I'm very happy. And if I don't, I'm not happy. So it must be true. That was my kind of conclusion. It must be true because I should be happy. And I don't think it's just imagination. It must be true. So the Shraddha, our Shraddha must be very strong. We must be very convinced of this truth. We must be. It's very important. And we should work on our Shraddha. So we strengthen this through many things. Reading, hearing, association with devotees, also discussing if there are serious doubts. So the Shraddha, then comes Rati, yeah, Rati, meaning more and more attraction, right? There's more attraction. Is that so? Rati. Shraddha, Rati, Bhakti. Rati. More attraction. Rati is also a stage of love, actually. In Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Rati stands also for love. And in the end, Bhakti. So this is then the conclusion, right? So this meant like this. The conclusion is Bhakti. Yeah, devotional service. So this is, in general, we are taking part in this program more or less every day in the temple room, chanting all that. That's very important, it's very good. But at the same time, we should understand what we are doing. And Bhakti Yoga is very scientific, as Prabhupada always says. And we should understand the science of it, how it works, what is the progression, what is coming after what, so that we know where we are, where are the difficulties, what will come next. We can have some, indications of our progress, and we should have that, we should know that. So we should work on our spiritual advancement. So that's just as an introduction to hearing Krishna Katha. Yeah? So it's very, very powerful to hear Krishna Katha. That's what we are doing right now. And to hear a verse from the Bhagavatam. So today we heard a very beautiful verse from the Bhagavatam, a description of the inhabitants of the spiritual world. And we hear about two exalted, special personalities, about doorkeepers. Their names are Chai and Vijay. Right? And they are guarding a gate. A huge, impressive, beautiful, spiritual gate. Doors to heaven. They are guarding them, that no one enters who is not allowed. And this is said is the 7th gate. Was it? I think it was this. No, after passing the 16th, dear Lord, I'm feeling fine. 7th, yeah. We are at the 7th gate. And as far as I know, it's the last. This is the last. I think it's the last. So there are, interesting, huh? 7 gates before you enter directly into Vaikuntha. So in that sense, sometimes we wonder about the incident what will unfold now, that there's a quarrel. We will hear now a quarrel between the doorkeepers and the sages. They will quarrel. And we wonder, how can it be in the spiritual world there shouldn't be any quarrel? So we can say, yeah, they were not in the spiritual world. They were at the entrance of the spiritual world. But at the same time, yeah, there might be such things in the spiritual world, but they have a higher purpose. They are not just out of, they cannot be out of material reasons, because there is no matter in the spiritual world. But all in all, this is a very special pastime, an arrangement of the Lord. So, there we hear this description of these doorkeepers, and firstly, they are very, very beautiful. Very, very beautiful, very attractive. In the spiritual world, everyone is very beautiful. Not just beautiful, they are perfect. Actually, they are perfect. They are perfect spiritual beings. They are parts and parcels of Krishna. Mama Vangsa Chiva Loke Chiva Bhuta Sanatana. It's said in the Bhagavad Gita, every soul, every Jiva is part and parcel, as Prabhupada says, of Krishna himself. Every one of us is a spiritual being. And in our true nature, we are perfect. Not bad to be perfect. But right now, this is quite forgotten and lost and covered. So this is the purpose of Krishna consciousness, to become perfect again, to be who we are as spiritual beings in union with Krishna. And then we will have also a spiritual form, a perfect spiritual form, which is free and happy, which knows no limitations and no pain. This is also where we have to put our Shraddha in. This is one of our central informations and purposes of practicing Krishna consciousness. And when we are more convinced of that, our practice becomes also more determined, because we know for what we're doing it. Yes, I will have my spiritual body. And this world is also called Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha means a world without trouble, without problems. A perfect world with perfect inhabitants. And one of their indications for being perfect is they are beautiful. So these doormen are described. Firstly, there's a garland described. It's interesting. They have a garland, a flower garland, which attracts bees. So you can imagine now this doorman with this nice garland, a fresh garland, a splendid garland. We sing also every evening that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has also a effulgent garland. Right? And it's a beautiful decoration, full of true colors, shining, powerful, beautiful colors. What would be the world without colors? Wow, there the Lord comes, the colorful Lord. He looks also today like forest outfit. With the green, and yeah, forest is beautiful. And yeah, what would be the world without colors? I'm doing actually color grading, color grading for my videos. It's amazing. This is a huge science. In general, there's a color science, right? This is a science, how it works. It's interesting. What would be, so when I create a video, you with a couple of clicks, you make the picture and you don't see it in the beginning. In the beginning, you see the picture, it's like, yeah, it's all right, it's nice. But then when you grade it and then you compare it, grading means you bring out the colors. This is what grading means. You bring out the colors. You make the black real black and the white real white and the nice composition of the colors. And then when you compare the outcome with where you started, it's worlds. But in the beginning, you were not seeing it, where there is no comparison, right? And then say, wow, it looks so different, yeah? So in one sense, this material world is an ungraded world. And we don't see how it really looks. We think it's okay, the world is okay, it's fine, it looks good, it feels good. Yeah, because we don't have the comparison to the spiritual world. The spiritual world, everything is true. And in the spiritual world, everything is, there are real colors. So we can imagine a real garland from the spiritual world with shining, powerful, beautiful colors. 2 days ago, my wife was doing a Tulasi Devi here for the Tulasi program. And she did this out of Fimo. You know what Fimo is? It is like a material you can form, like plastiline. Yeah. And she had this Fimo colors. And the colors were so shining, so bright. Huh? I said, wow, such beautiful colors. And she made this tulsi, and then I made also something. The flower where tulsi was standing on. I made it out of yellow and pink. And his colors were so shining, so powerful. Huh? Beautiful, actually. So the spiritual world is true. There's true color. True, shining, resplendent color. Yeah. And interesting, what are the colors? We have like 7 colors, right? We have, of course, there are more colors, but there are like 7 main colors. There are actually 3 colors in one sense. Actually, there's only one. So it's only white. It's only light. Let's say like this. That's light. It's only light. And then there is, it splits into the different colors of the blue, red, and yellow. Yeah. So like the prime colors, and from this you have everything else. So, but actually it's only light. And how the colors come about, it's an interesting, mysterious thing. Huh? Yeah, so some people, they don't see colors. Farbenblind. They see everything, I don't know in which color then. Maybe in gray. Like an old black and white movie. Everything is black and white. They don't see colors. Imagine you grade their vision. Turn up the saturation. Whoa! That's a huge thing. Huh?
It happens nowadays.
Yeah, they have some.
Start crying.
Yeah. Suddenly you see colors. So if you cry already, if you see the colors of the material world, how much you will cry when you see the colors of the spiritual world, right? So there's much awaiting us in the spiritual world when we see true color, when we have true vision. So this garland is full of true colors and beautiful form, right? Flowers. Prabhupada, I heard, said once that if you study a flower, you can become God conscious. If you study flower, how beautiful it is, how it works, how it grows. And it's true, if we study aspects of the material world, become a bit more God conscious. Science makes us more God conscious if you understand how the material world works, and if you understand who did all that, and how could he do that? How can Krishna create such an amazing world? He must be very intelligent and very powerful. Intelligent to make a plan, like an engineer. If he develops a machine. Yesterday I saw a clip of a scientist who, I developed and transportable animal cremation machine. That's kind of funny. Transportable animal cremation machine explained in very technical terms how it works. It's an invention. But anyway, some people are very intelligent and they make a plan of an extraordinary machine, and then you need also the power to build it. So Krishna had this amazing intelligence to figure out how the material world should work, every aspect, every element, how it should interact with the other, and it doesn't clash, right? He needs to, like just man and woman, two different machines which are compatible. This is also a proof against evolution. That evolution by accident from one sort of living entity created, two different versions which can make another engine. And it's, anyway. But so Krishna makes this huge universe where every element, where every aspect is wonderfully working and in harmony with the others. So they're separate working, and together making the whole universe which itself works. So Krishna has this amazing intelligence to figure something out and to realize it. Right? So the flower of this spiritual garland must be very beautiful, colorful, and it smells. Not like our flowers. Our flowers are, in that sense, I don't say useless, they look good. They have only one aspect of their, they serve only one purpose. But flowers should also serve the purpose of having a satisfying smell. But most of the flowers, isn't it? Like every morning we get a flower. What do you want to, I should test this now or what? Oh, it came now. It's light. Very little smell. Yeah, but real flowers, they have amazing smell, and you cannot stop smelling it. It's so satisfying. So, and because these flowers are so beautiful, hanging on these spiritual personalities, the bees are coming, and always some bees buzzing around, making a nice atmosphere. So this is the first thing what is described here, the flower garland, which hangs on the neck between their forearms. This is also special. They have 4 arms. Very interesting. The Vaikuntha Vasis, the inhabitants of Vaikuntha, they have 4 arms. This is one of their signs. And why is it like this? Because the Vaikuntha Pati, the Lord of Vaikuntha, he has also 4 arms. Everyone in the spiritual world, in Vaikuntha, looks like Narayan. Everyone looks like Narayan. And once I was thinking about that, and for me I came to the conclusion it's not that everyone looks exactly like Narayan. It's like we all look kind of the same. We have 2 arms, we have 1 head, but still we look different. So I imagine the spirit world also like that. Yeah, everyone looks like Narayan. What doesn't mean that everyone looks 100% like Narayan. When Gopa Kumar, it is a very interesting book by Sanatana Goswami. It's called Priyat Bhagavatamrita. Priyat means big, and Bhagavatamrita means the nectar of the Bhagavatam. Yeah, so, and it's a very, very big book actually. That's right, Priyat. And there's a story, actually it has 2 parts. One is the story of Narada Muni, and one is the story of a cowherd boy, Gopa Kumar, who travels through the universe in search of his Lord. And he goes to all different, and it's very interesting because he visits all the worlds. He goes to all the worlds in the material world and also to all the worlds in the spiritual world. Very beautiful story, amazing story. And when he comes to Vaikuntha, he visits also Vaikuntha, and the first person he sees, one of the inhabitants of Vaikuntha, he thinks now, oh, I found my Lord. And he says, oh, there you are, I found you. And he offers obeisances. And this person is shy, no, it's not me. I'm just a regular guy here in Vaikuntha. I'm not the Lord. Why? No, we all look like him, but it's not me. He was shocked, didn't want to accept it. So yeah, they look very similar, but it's not that they look exactly the same. So here these doormen who are guarding the 7th gate of Vaikuntha, they look like Narayan. They have 4 arms. Chaturbuja. That's the word. Chaturbuja means 4-armed. Yes. So Bahu means the arms. And in between their arms, on their body, there's this beautiful garland hanging. But at the same time, now it's described, Prabhupada says, also in the translation, they are somewhat agitated. They were not so happy. And then their eyes are described. The face, Vaktram, Pruva. So they have a beautiful face. And they have eyebrows. They are arched meaning like this. Sputa, snorting. What is snorting? Snorting, I think it's like heavily breathing, or what is snorting? Someone knows what is snorting? What was in the German translation? You had it? This word, snorting. Sputa. Nirgamabhyam, and breathing. Yeah, I think this means somehow. So? Ah, yeah, that was the wrong verse. Schnauben. Ah, okay, Schnauben means like heavily, so they were heavily breathing through their transcendental nose. And they had reddish eyes. Rakta means eyes. Raktikshanena. They had reddish eyes and appeared somewhat agitated. So they were angry. Beautiful, garlanded, 4-armed, and angrily looking at these 4 small, naked boys. They were big. They were powerful. You know, doorkeepers of the spiritual world. Why the doorkeepers? Because they were strong, powerful. No one can cross their door. And they guard it. This is their job. You know, they're guarding the door. They're not like Indian chokidar. We have the chokidar, chokidar, sleeping. This is real, like in India and Vrindavan, when in the morning time they are sitting in their huts and sleeping. Guarding, their way of guarding. Anyway, not all of them. We also saw some dutiful ones, but sometimes. So they are guarding this huge door in this impressive world. We heard here the description of the spiritual world. It's an amazing world. It's actually a nice episode of the Bhagavatam. Wow. All that starts because the demigods are shocked. The demigods are the rulers of the material universe, and suddenly the universe becomes black, dark. Imagine, suddenly now everything becomes dark. It becomes so dark, you don't see sun or stars or moon, complete darkness everywhere. We become a little bit, what's going on? We might think it's the end of the world. Yeah, and they were thinking also like, this is the end of the world, what's going on? And they couldn't see anything. It became pitch dark. Darkness covered the universe. So they went to Brahma, but they knew something that has something to do with Diti. So such powerful living entities who darken the universe. And because of this, Brahma said, okay, don't worry, I will tell you the reason for that. There's another reason behind the reason. There's always a reason behind the reason in the Bhagavatam, which is interesting. So this is the real reason. So that these 4 Kumaras, they were traveling freely throughout the universe. Very interesting. They are completely free to go wherever they like, and they are small boys, and they are old as Brahma, and they are naked. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says they are not completely naked. They have they wear bells. I don't know how they have some string and some bells they're wearing. But it's no problem, you know, if small children run around naked. It's innocent. So and they are nakedly traveling throughout the universe, going wherever they like. So once they also went to Vaikuntha to see the Lord of Vaikuntha. So they were not, it's always interesting, were they already devotees or not? Because it's actually said they are jnanis. They are Brahmavadis. They realized the all-pervading energy of the Lord, but they hadn't have this direct contact with the Lord. And it's said in this episode later when the Lord comes now, which is a beautiful description. It's so nice how, but this, I'll leave this for the next speakers. But then they smell the tulasi leaves. And this makes them devotees, so more or less. As I always understood like that. But there was the complete conversion. But somehow or other they wanted to see the Lord. Because this is also said in the text itself. This is why they got angry. Because Cha and Vicha were preventing them from seeing the Lord. So it's hard to put them into some category. But still, the small children run around. And they said the Cha and Vicha were also angry because they were walking around, opening doors wherever they liked, like also the gates of the other 6 gates, la la la, like small children, opening, looking, everything, not caring about anything, being monists or Brahmavadis, seeing no difference in anything, so kind of not being too impressed by the whole scene. And then they want to go through this 7th gate, and Cha and Vicha were preventing them. So you will not go here inside. And they were taking their, I don't know, maybe the club or some other stick or something, and were holding this in front of them. It said they held this in front of them. And as it said here, they were angry. And it's always said in the Bhagavatam, when someone is angry, their eyes get red. So next time someone of you gets angry, maybe you make a selfie, that we can see how this works. Make a selfie. You know, think, oh no, I'm angry, okay, I make a selfie for Ananda Krishna. maybe then you get even more angry. Ah, yes, no, Ananda Krishna. Yes. Yeah, so, but it's always said, when they got angry, they have red eyes. They're so angry. And they were so breathing heavily and having these red eyes, looking at this from, up, down to these small boys. They took it personal. And they were like, everything is all right? Everything is one? This is also, they argue now, then after this, to this Cha and Vicha, that you are not, eligible to be here. You see differences. We don't see any differences between the Lord and the souls. Everything is one. But it was more Brahmavad. It's not complete Mayavad. Not Brahmavad. Everything is one in essence. And you see difference. And you should be like the Lord. The Lord is always transcendental. You are now angry. You deserve, you shouldn't be here. You deserve to go in the material world. They cursed them then. Yeah. But right now still, we are in the beginning of this quarrel. But I find it interesting that they are so angry. This powerful living were angry at these small boys. So they, they were, and that's the question, why they become angry. How could they become angry? Through this, why did they become angry? Of course, everything is arrangement by the Lord, because He wanted them, this Cha and Vicha, to go to the material world, to become His enemies. And these two were the two demons in the womb of Diti. Why the universe became so dark. This is what Brahma said. This is the reason why the universe is dark, because these two demons are actually Cha and Vicha. And now they came because they were cursed by the Kumaras. They came to this material world to become enemies of God. To become the biggest enemies of God. And why does God want that? How can Krishna want that? He wanted to fight. He thought, I want to fight. And his own Prabhupada explains, there's a fighting interest in the Lord. And he thought, but who can fight with me? Must be someone who is kind of on my platform. From material world, no one can give me a good fight. But Cha and Vicha, my good doorkeepers, they are good. They are tough guys. Yeah, strong, guarding the door, Come easily angry. I want to fight them. But we make it in the material world. We make it in the material world. So they became the biggest demons ever in history, which needed the appearance of the biggest and most powerful avatars in history, especially Narasimhadev, because he came then because of them, of course. So everything is connected. So, but still here we are in the beginning of the scene, and it will unfold more. We hear the next days who said what. But very interesting, when the Kumaras were now cursing them, reasoning that you shouldn't be here because you see the differences, because you are not, don't have Krishna consciousness, you don't represent the all-merciful, transcendent Lord, you should go to the material world. When Shah and Vijay heard that, they became humble. They became humble. They fell at the feet of the Kumaras, it said. They fell at their feet, oh, we are so sorry. They said, okay, what have we done? Because maybe they thought, you're just boys, what are you doing here? But then they realized, oh, these are not just boys, they are powerful sages. Okay, we are sorry. And then the Kumaras also became sorry. It's also said, they also became sorry and said, oh, what have we done now? We cursed the Lord, especially when the Lord came. Then they felt, oh, we cursed your doorkeepers, and we're also sorry. So this is actually what we can learn out of this situation. First, of course, we should not quarrel with devotees. We shouldn't be angry with devotees. But if it happens, we should fall at the feet of the devotee. And the devotee at whose feet you fall, he should forgive. It's very important. There should be excuse and also acceptance of excuse. So this is the devotee behavior. We are in the material world. We might quarrel, we might have differences in views or likes and dislikes, but we should overcome that with Vaishnava etiquette. And sometimes we might quarrel, then it might happen, but then we should work it out also. Yeah? And the one who got offended, he should not keep the grudge forever and think always bad about the other one. He should really forgive. This is the greatness of a devotee, that he can forgive. I think in a couple of lectures ago I spoke on this in more detail, right? The power of forgiveness, and that's not so easy, but it should be done always. There should not be any devotee in your life, actually there shouldn't be any person in your life where you are having this grudging feeling, I don't like him, or shouldn't be. We should clear our heart from this. We should see everyone with the same view. We should dissolve and solve all our issues. And some of you might have still, when just think, is there a person where you still are angry with or hurt, or you think I don't like him or her? He's in a negative spot in my heart. There's some negativity in my heart. Maybe there are more, a whole row of them. Yes, he, she, mother, father, sister, brother. Oh, and he did this, she did that. Oh, I hate him. Shouldn't be. And how can you get rid of this? If you forgive, dissolve it, let it go. Accept it as part of your life, what happened, your karma, whatever, but because this will be a stumbling block on our path to Krishna. All attachments are stumbling blocks on our way to Krishna. Positive and negative attachment. It's a negative attachment. You're attached to something negative. We're attached to the anger, to the guilt, to the hurt, whatever. We're attached to it. We cannot let go. No, I cannot let go. Sometimes something happens, something real terrible happens to someone. Really terrible. Maybe you got mistreated as a child, or abused, or raped, or a woman gets raped. I think it's very difficult to forgive. Definitely, very difficult. But it has to be done there too. Sometimes you hear about a court case where there was a murder, some boy was killed, and then the father of the boy goes to the killer and forgives him. Sometimes you hear about this. And he takes him in the arm, okay, I forgive you. Very powerful. How can you do that? But it has to be done. Maybe not like this, but still, you understand my point. We have to let this go and understand it's karma. Whatever happens in my life, it's okay. It might not be fair because I cannot see the fairness in it, but it's okay. Yeah. It's not easy, definitely. So, but here with the devotees, we see that. Jai and Vijay were not forever angered. You send us in the material world. How you are so terrible. We hate you. Revengeful. We hate you forever. Now, these Kumaras, when you talk with Jai and Vijay, they are terrible. You know what they have done? We just did our job, and they come and curse us. What's that? And then curse them. We are angry with them. And then you talk with the Kumaras. Yeah, once we were on excursion, we went to the spiritual world, wanted to see Narayan, and they stopped us. We were finally, we want to become bhaktas, and they stop us. Such, nonsense guys, terrible. We don't like them. And they're like, yeah, people have that. But they were forgiving, understood, okay, it happened, we forgive you, please. And then the Lord comes, He can reconciliate, how to say, the whole thing, and it's good. And they forgive each other. They don't have issues with each other. Then the Jai and Vijay accepted, okay, we go into the material world, the Lord, it has its Lord's sanctioning, blessing, it's okay, we take it upon us. Yeah, accept it. So this is interesting. So in that sense, they are transcendental to it. In that sense, it was not material. In that sense. Of course, it's also arrangement by the Lord, but itself, it was not, in that sense, a big thing. And for us devotees also, sometimes we might quarrel. But it should go away as fast as it came and should be no issue anymore. We might have this, but then it's like, sorry, Prabhu, and I'm really sorry, I had a bad day, and then he was like, yeah, no problem, it's okay. And as if nothing happened. No, it's okay. Sometimes you can quarrel, it comes out, it happens. In relationships, between husband and wife, they quarrel all the time. They quarrel all that time. Because of nothing. But it's okay if then, it's okay then I will say, okay. And it's not easy. It's not easy. I heard one story recently that there was a husband and wife, and they were having a quarrel, and they were so angry with each other, they stopped speaking to each other. And then when you go into such a thing, you say, I will not make the first step. I will not. I'm the husband. She should come. And she thinks the same. So in this husband and the wife, then they were, because they were living together, they had to manage the household, they were just communicating with writing. They just, I don't talk to you. I don't talk to you either. And then one evening, the husband wrote, my dear wife, tomorrow I have to go to work very early. I have to get up very, please wake me at 5 o'clock so that I can take my lunch at 6 and can catch the train at 7 o'clock. And my dear, he gave this to her. And she read it. And in the morning time, she got up at the right time. And she went to the bedroom. And because he thought, now she has to talk to me to wake me up, And she made a big sign, wake up. And stood in front of him. And of course, he was not waking up. So I heard that story. But this is how far you can go, right? I will not. I will not. Ja, das ist eine verfahrene Situation, wie man sagt in Deutsch. Yeah. So how do you solve this problem? Make the first step. In German is also saying, what was it? Der Kluge gibt nach und der Dumme fällt in den Bach. Huh? Yeah, genau. Yeah, in Austrian, this is something from Austria. Yeah, it's like this. And you say, okay, I will do it. My dear, sorry. I'm sorry. I learned a mantra now. My wife actually told me. And I didn't know it. And it seems to really work. She says, a woman has to always say to the husband, this is a very good idea. But she does it that I don't always believe her. And she said, and the man has to say, I know how you feel. And it really works. Now I always say it. I always say it. That really comes. I know how you feel. And she looks at me. You just say it. I said, no, I really know how you feel. Really. This, and I can. And actually, it works for me too. It's really interesting that it works for that I put myself in her position, understand. Oh, maybe I can, learn something, change something. Somehow or other, it's a magical mantra. I know how you feel. But we have to learn the art of saying it right. Not just, I know how you feel. But even if you just say it, I know how you feel, like a papagay, it also works. To some degree. Anyway, so with devotees, we should forgive, sometimes we have to quarrel, right? Sometimes it has to get out. Sometimes it's better you go to some devotee, a brahmachari friend, your wife, husband, this and that, and say, you idiot! Sorry. You idiot! Right? Okay, sorry that I said it, but I had to go out, Okay, no problem. We shouldn't take actually all that so serious anyway. Mahaprabhu says, Krishna, you can treat me as you like, as you like. You will always be my Lord. And Prabhupada says this is the symptom of a real devotee. This is the key for a real devotee, that he, what is the verse? Tatenu kampam susam mikshamano punjana ivatma kritam vipakam ritvakva bopir vidadan namaste chiveta yumukti padesa dayabak. Yeah? Whatever happens in my life, I understand it's my karma. It's good. It's all right. And in this situation, I worship the Lord with my heart, with my mind, with all my feelings. With my rit, vak, vapurvir, with my heart, with my words, and with my body. Obeisance is to the Lord. Even though I am suffering terribly. And then it said, such a person is eligible for liberation, for the spiritual world. That means you passed all the tests. You passed the test of the material world. You understand it's just the material world. And I shouldn't take it serious. So meaning whatever happens, we should not... Because actually, if you have issues with that, what happens? We have an issue with Krishna. In the end, actually, we have an issue with Krishna. Not easy. Something we have to work on, of course. But this is the ideal. So in the association of devotees, we should become very tolerant, very forgiving, not keeping the grudge, and progressing in this way. And take example of these devotees. Now it looks like why they are quarreling, why they are angry. In the spiritual world, come on. But then we see how it gets dissolved, how is their attitude. And that's beautiful. That's very beautiful. So something you can learn out of this. Okay, thank you so much. Srila Prabhupada ki. Anything you want to add? Or some question? Dvaita Simha?
The prayer of Bhagavatam, it also said there are also devotees, but they look like demons. So are there demons now in Vaikuntha and Krishna fights with them, or only in the material world?
If there are demons in the spiritual world, then they are spiritual.
Yeah, the devotees, like...
So then it's Krishna's arrangement. It's not like in the material world, so it's different. This is then for the lila and for the fun and for the adventure, so to say. Right? So it's not like demons in the... Even in Krishna's lila, it's kind of for the lila. So there are demons like in lila demons with Krishna, which is different. There's different laws and rules. And then we have demons like nowadays and Kali Yuga demons, or demons who are material demons and negative and against Dharma and really giving trouble to the people and all that. You don't have demons like that in the spiritual world. So if something like this is there, it's spiritual. Everything what is in the spiritual world is right, is correct, is spiritual, is good, and serves some spiritual purpose. So that the effect is what counts, and not just the appearance. What's the purpose, right? So, yeah. Like when Prabhupada says that there's envy in the spiritual world between the gopis. This is not envy like that what we have. This is more like appreciation and inspiration is different. In general, everything what is in the material world is also in the spiritual world, but in a true sense, in a true way. All right? Okay. Mataji, thank you. Yeah.
this inability to forgive is really connected with the false ego, you know? That the ego is pushing us to give this gratification of being right after all and being superior in some way and so on. So it's a really real ego thing, actually. Ego is
yeah. Yes, it's tricky. It's not easy. Yeah. Yeah, it's just the ego. Yeah, and a spiritual person has not this material ego, false ego, is very humble. Actually, I heard once, when you're advanced, if there's a problem, because normally if there's a problem, you always say, whose fault was it? You know, something like in management, isn't that? Whose fault was it? Who did it? Who was it? Who? But in spiritual consciousness, you always take responsibility for the problem. How can I solve the problem? How can I help to solve the problem? Right? In material consciousness, I mean, who has done it? Who should be now? How is this word? Punished. Who should not be punished? Who did it? We might think this is part of solving the problem. Might be okay, yeah, of course, this person should be somehow educated, but we should do this in a way of how can we solve the problem? How am I responsibility for the problem? Or how am I responsible for not solving the problem, which makes me part of the problem? Right? So completely different. Shouldn't take this in a false ego. Yeah, we have a lot to learn, even these basics of community life. Alright, yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Brahmanande. And good luck to the devotees who go out today on book distribution. This is a very powerful mission. You're very, very fortunate and doing the greatest service for humanity. Hare Krishna.
Spreading the karuna.
Spreading the karuna. Yes, we are spreading karuna. Wenn ihr mehr wissen wollt über die transzendentale Wissenschaft des Krishna-Bewusstseins, dann kann ich euch den Bhakti Club empfehlen. Wir haben nun eine neue Plattform, auf der ich exklusive Inhalte anbiete, wie Videos und Kurse und eine digitale Sadhu Sangha. Geht einfach auf www.bhakti-club.de und registriert euch dort. Dann könnt ihr Einlass bekommen in eine spirituelle, digitale Welt. Ich freue mich auf eure Gemeinschaft. Hare Krishna.